For being aware in the instant from this and other information, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. China has announced a drop in new cases from the coronavirus outbreak for a third consecutive day. On Sunday, authorities reported 2,009 new cases and 142 more deaths nationwide. New cases spiked earlier in the week after a change in the way they were counted but have been falling ever since. In total, more than 68,000 people have been infected in China, with the death toll standing at 1,665. Outside of China, there have been more than 500 cases in nearly 30 countries. 4 people have died, in France, Hong Kong, the Philippines and Japan. Speaking before the latest figures were released, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang said the drop in new cases showed that overall the epidemic is controllable. We've taken such complete prevention and control efforts that are so comprehensive that I can't see any other country that can do this, he said. In other developments, the number of people who have tested positive on a cruise ship being held in quarantine in a Japanese port has risen to 355. The Diamond Princess has seen the highest number of cases outside of China. The US and Canada are sending planes to evacuate its citizens from the ship. China's central bank is to disinfect and store used banknotes before recirculating them in a bid to stop the virus spreading. French officials said on Saturday that a Chinese tourist died in France after contracting the new coronavirus, the first fatality from the disease outside Asia. On another cruise ship docked in Cambodia, an 83-year-old American woman has tested positive for the virus after arriving by air in Malaysia. In the UK, all but one of 9 people being treated have been discharged from hospital. 5 new cases have been confirmed in Singapore, bringing the total there to 72. 18 have fully recovered and have left hospital. On Saturday, World Health Organization (WHO) head Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus praised Beijing's response to the outbreak. China has bought the world time. We don't know how much time, he said. We're encouraged that outside China, we have not yet seen widespread community transmission. How is China coping? Tens of millions of Chinese still face heavy restrictions on their day-to-day life as part of the government's efforts to halt the spread of the virus, which has been officially named COVID-19. Much of the response has focused on the hard-hit province of Hubei and its capital Wuhan, where the outbreak began. The city is all but sealed off from the rest of the country. Foreign Minister Wang said that along with a drop in infections within Hubei, there had also been a rapid increase in the number of people who had recovered. As part of measures to contain coronavirus, Beijing has ordered everyone returning to the city to go into quarantine for 14 days or risk punishment. But local authorities have struggled to provide protective equipment such as respiratory masks, goggles and protective suits to hospitals in Hubei. 6 health workers have died since the outbreak began. In another development, Chinese state media published a speech from earlier this month in which Chinese President Xi Jinping said he had given instructions on the 7th of January on containing the outbreak. At the time, local officials in the city of Wuhan were downplaying the severity of the epidemic. This would suggest senior leaders were aware of the potential dangers of the virus before the information was made public. With the government facing criticism for its handling of the outbreak, analysts suggest the disclosure is an attempt to show the party leadership acted decisively from the start.